getting tired? Can't sleep?
Welcome to Enrichment of Mind, Body, and Soul. How are you guys doing this evening?
Excellent.
Or good morning, or midday, or whichever part of the world you are.
Absolutely.
How are you guys doing?
Absolutely.
We're doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing fabulous.
Great. Wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
I am doing fabulous, because this topic this evening is right on point.
Right on point.
It's right on point, because what are we really tapping into? Are we giving ourselves permission to tap in? Are we trusting our inner guidance? Are we giving ourselves permission to listen? Because the outside noise, sometimes it clouds our judgment, and we're not able to listen to our own voice, that inner voice. On enrichment of mind, body, and so we always talk about the inner. So we're going to go deep within this evening. We're diving deep within this evening.
Yes.
And this diving deep is to help us, each of us, to understand more about ourselves. As behind the scenes, Will, Lady J, and Tommy Thompson, we're talking, a lot of people at this point in time, they're looking for the purpose. Mm-hmm. But how can you find your purpose if you're not tapping in? How can you find your purpose if you're not tapping in? How can you find your gifts if you're not tapping in? You got to have that special connection with yourself. You must be able to sit and have that special connection with yourself. Because each day we need to have some micro stillness. And it's meaning to sitting with ourselves in quiet moments. And when we sit with ourselves in quiet moments, we start to tap in. And when we start to tap into our body, we are able to understand so many things that is going on within, because it brings you to awareness. Because many times we're asking ourselves questions, but we're not tapping in to get the answer. And sometimes you also find that the answer that you're looking for may show up in a conversation you're having with someone. The answer that you're looking for may show up in a podcast like this that you're looking at. So you got to tap in. You got to tap into that source. And the source is within you. And that is what we are forgetting. But we are here this evening to remind you. We are here this evening to remind you that you are so special. And why you're special? Because you came with your own compass. You came here with your own compass. So you could able to navigate life in a very special and unique way, because you are unique. So this evening, as Will would say, we're going to be talking to the subconscious mind and help to regulate that subconscious mind. Because many times we are running in this old paradigm and it's not really working for us. But we are here to help you to shift. We're going to shift your perspectives tonight, because we're going to be giving you some real great tools that you can ask yourself, am I giving myself permission? Am I trusting myself? And this is one question that we're going to start off with. Ask yourself this question. What part of me have I been ignoring that's asking to be heard? What part of me have I been ignoring that's asking to be heard? Because many times we are ignoring ourselves. We are ignoring ourselves. But I'm not going to take up much more time. I'm going to toss the mic now to Lady J. I am Lady K, and holistic health and wellness coach, and so many other things. And we are coming out with a great masterclass. And we are working behind the scenes because we want, when you come into that space, you can be filled. You can be filled, and you can able, when you leave that space, you experience transformation. So we are putting in the work for you. So when you come into that space, you can have that level of transformation that you're looking for in your life. But I'm going to toss the mic now to Lady J. Lady J, take the mic. Well, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great opening as always. Well,
Thank you, Lady
welcome,
J.
Tommy Thompson behind the scenes, and everyone who's watching us. And we just want to say thanks to all of you who tune in every week to us, and especially last week where we had such a great topic and we got great feedback with so much new stuff that we learned, so much ideas, new perspectives, got a new insights of really what that is topic is all about, and how we can look at our own lives and how we can match it up and line it up towards that. And when we can recognize when there are those spiritual touch points, and when there are those mark moments, and those are the things that really matter. That's why we have this show. That's why we say this topic tonight, leaning into yourself, your inner guidance. And I'm glad you touch on, before we get further, Karen, about the masterclass, Lady K, about the masterclass, because that is such a time when we're gonna launch it. And what we're gonna be talking about is reset, renew, rejuvenate, and refocus. All the 4 R's. So we're just gonna jump in and ask you, look at yourself and where you're resetting. Look at yourself and where you're starting to renew. Spring is coming. And look at yourself, how you feel when you have shifted into the state of rejuvenation, and how you're setting the tone to refocus. And I think that also line up with this topic tonight as well, because you're giving yourself permission to reset. You're giving yourself permission to renew. You're giving yourself permission to feel rejuvenated, and you're giving yourself to refocus. You're showing yourself grace. Because I think sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. We look at our failures, we look at our mistakes, and we say we messed up. But no, you haven't. It's just a sense of redirecting what happened. It's also a learning experience. That is why tapping into your inner self and your inner guidance is a true compass, because it can help you with navigation. It can help you to recalibrate and reach to the space where you're thinking about your goals, your dreams. So sit quietly tonight. And we know there is so much noise around, but you got to tune that out. That is why tonight we're taking you inward. Go within. Everything is inside of you. That is why we always say lean into your inner wisdom. Because when you can lean in and tap into that space, wow, the quiet whisper. The quiet whisper. That is why it's also so important to have your journaling, your notepad, your pen, so that you can write when those inspirations start to flow. When you're out in nature, pause, because that is how you reset. You have to really, it's so important to take that time to pause. I know we all can relate to that. I mean, we're looking at all the messages, the notification, but pause. Find a space in your own home or wherever your office and just take some time and pause. Tap in so you can reset, you can renew, so you can refocus. Because that is self-care for yourself too. You're pouring on you. So we got a great show for you tonight. Sit back, relax, invite a friend because sharing is caring. And so we can all dive deep into this subject. And you can feel for yourself when you find after this show, as you tap in, moving forward from this moment, you will realize and recognize there was so much new inside of you. Great gifts that you haven't touched as yet. Your purpose, your insight, and your perspectives will truly become new because you're moving into new awareness. And as you move into new awareness, there is clarity. So you can have a level of roadmap, how you want to move forward. We are already in the month of March. Happy March. And it's a nice time of year to zoom in so that at the conclusion of 2026, you've accomplished so much. You've took the time for yourself, for you. Choose you so that you can able to achieve all the goals, all the dreams, all your aspiration, whatever is it that you're going after or looking forward to, and put you on that trajectory so that you can know that your I ams, I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm enough. And whatever I set my mind to do, I can achieve it because it's within me. I'm enough.
Absolutely.
And I'm worthy. Know that you're worthy. You're worthy of everything. And it's so that you can live the life you deserve. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show tonight. My name is Lady J, certified holistic health and wellness coach, and so many other things. But we're not going to take up too much time because it's such a great, important topic we're talking about tonight. And Will, welcome to the show. And we know that you're going to deliver to us tonight. You're going to expand our toolkit, our toolbox, so that we can
Yeah,
live the life we deserve. Welcome.
absolutely. Thank you very much. I am appreciative to be a part of this show tonight. You ladies, the growth of your show is from the time that I've met you and then, followed your show. And I'm sure the audience can agree with this, is that they've seen the process of these shows getting better and better and better because they're pushing you to think for yourself and ask you to ask questions of yourself in order to hit your shift, so to speak.
Yes.
So the show is not about entertaining you; it's about growing you. And so that's why Karen put that question to out in front there. And to some people, as soon as she got through saying that, they already were in that mode of, "Whoa, wait a minute, I hadn't even thought about that." But that's what the show is about, though. It's created to make you think. And so this particular topic this evening, we're going to move fast, of course. We always do when there's three of us or the four of us together with Tommy in the mix here. The show's going to move fast, but you're going to be very knowledgeable about what we're talking about, though, and you'll get it. And so, like, I'm getting ready to present the topic here, but I'm going to walk you through every phase of it all the way down to the spiritual aspect of it. And I'm also going to throw in a little bit something extra that you probably haven't even thought about, and that's the process of having ESP. Because when you go inside, you're going to be pushed to a process to where you have visions, dreams, that kind of thing, and that ties into this, but you never give it any thought. And then the other part of that, which I'm going to cover, is the reason that you don't give it any thought, even though the government has studied this thoroughly and they know it exists, you just don't know it exists. They know how to use it against you. But as soon as you tap in, Lady J just touched on this, as soon as you tap in, you will find that you have more power than you could conceive that you have. Where you keep getting lost at, before I go into the title here and start this conversation, is that you're looking for things that happen in movies, you know, moving, you can shift a building or something like this, right? That's what you're thinking of, that's going to give you the sense that you think that, okay, I am powerful. But you have to remember, all of this is spiritual. So when you go inside, that's what you're going to find out about yourself, is that all of this existence that you are interacting in is all spiritual. And so if you can understand that and then tap into that, as the ladies have already said, now everything opens up for you. Nothing's closed to you. Anything that you desire can be had at that point, but you got to tap into it though. And so tonight's topic, give yourself permission to go within and reclaim your inner guidance. Now, just the topic alone is deep, because you can have a conversation just based around just that part of it, right? But a lot of people won't discuss anything like this because it also can scare you. And that's what you cannot afford to have. So the first part I want to do is self-permission, right? Going inside, because it says, give yourself permission to go within and reclaim inner guidance. So I want to start off with self-permission. What is self-permission? That's intent, right? So you have to be intentional about what you speak and what you decide you want to try to do. If you can do that, you'll take complete authority of the thing that you speak or think of. You become the authority of it, because at that point, that thought of intent will drive you to where you want to go. But if you don't do that, you can't tap into that energy, right? So you, as a self-creator, you give off the thought of self-permission. When you do that, you're going to move into action without fear. I just covered that. You're going to have to move without any fear or limitations, thought or limitations of anything outside of yourself. Your inner self, which is going to be tapping into your subconscious as well, which is going to be trying to keep you safe. So it's going to always second guess and ask you to ask questions of why we need to do this, because I don't feel like we might get hurt. I don't want us hurt. So my job is to protect you. So I'm going to say that's a no. So that's what your subconscious is going to be telling you the whole time. But once you tap into self-permission, you're going to quiet that noise from the subconscious. And once you can quiet the subconscious just long enough for your consciousness and your auditory voice to kick in, that's that third voice I talked about last week's show. Mm-hmm. Once those two get together, they're going to override the safety thought from the subconscious. The subconscious is going to gradually buy into it that, hey, we can do this because these two other entities or spirits or energies are saying that it's going to be safe, and so we can do that. Now, as you move into that, that's going to give you permission to now pursue this, right? So now we move into inner guidance. Inner guidance is knowing. That's where you've taken these two voices of the auditory voice, which is that third voice that everybody hears, that little voice in your head that's always telling you, we can do this, let's go. And then you have the conscious that's always saying, this is something brand new, but hey, let's give it a shot. The inner guidance is going to tell you to trust and believe that your decision and choices are the correct ones for you at that particular moment. Now, if you accept that, you can do that without feeling some type of way pressured from the group, which is outside saying, hey, why are you even trying that? You know you're not the right person to be trying to do that. You've never even spoken to me about doing something like that. So what makes you think you can do it now? They're going to push you to that play it safe and just join the group mode, right? That's where they want to keep you at. Now your inner guidance, so to get that out, inner guidance is telling you we can do this. Just trust me. We know how to do it. We're capable of doing it. Let's pursue it. Now, once you can get past these two, your next thing is going to be spiritual inner guidance. Now, before I get into what that is, I want to take you to your Bible, because you always, you have people that are religious and they always want to tap into this. And I want to go to John 4:24. And I just want to put this one little piece in there, because that's all it actually is. It says, God is a spirit. Now, if you can tap in and understand that, it's talking directly to you. God is a spirit, not a physical thing. It's a spirit. It never was a physical being or some type or something that you could interact with from that perspective of you seeing it. It never has been that. It never was that. It never was meant to be that. So if you trust what's in your Bible, I just told you, and I've also used other scriptures to back this up as well, because it's all over the Bible. It tells you constantly that you are what you are seeking outside of you. But because you're afraid and don't want to accept that you can handle all that responsibility, you keep trying to go outside of you and saying, okay, there's somebody sitting around on a big chair somewhere, and they're watching over my life and they're guiding me. They don't know. You have those choices. You have those options. You have those decisions. There's nothing outside of you that's trying to make life better for you. It's going to be you. So that's what the spiritual inner guidance is going to tell you. And if you can do that, now you're able to tap into your awareness and your consciousness. You're able to tap into the consciousness everywhere, right? You're able to tap in and be aware of it at that point. And once you can accept that. Now, I've just covered 3 parts of this that are crucial to this, right? The next aspect that I want to go into is the psychology of inner self, because all of this ties back to the material aspect of it, because now we're still inside of your head, but we're gradually coming back to material, which is where most people live, and they have to see it in order to think that it exists. But what I just said about John 4:24, you're not going to see it because it's spiritual. So you're not going to be able to see it. You have to tap into that energy field, the force, and feel it. It's gonna be through your heart's energy. You can feel it. If you do that, everything like I just said, you've given yourself permission now to go deep within and feel what you need to get you to move forward. The psychology of inner self is consciousness. Now you're doing that through your thoughts, but you're also mentally taking yourself through what's familiar that you've experienced over your lifetime, material wise, right? So the familiar part of you is always, in action and trying to tell you that I've done that before, we've seen that before. So let me put some pieces together and see how that fits. And once you feel comfortable with it, you're like, okay, I've done that before. I've seen it before. I know I can do that. So now you're not so troubled by the decision because you feel like you've seen it or experienced it before. So that's going to allow you to tap into that and move yourself forward. Now, if you take the psychology of inner self, the spiritual inner guidance, the inner guidance itself, and then self-permission, we've just gone through the very title of the show tonight, right? The first part of it. But there's another aspect to this because we're going deep. So I want to take you inside of what we call destiny swapping or divine swap. You can find that in 2 Corinthians 5:21. And what it is where spiritually you're going to transform. Now, I'm a transformational speaker, right? So when I speak to people, I'm trying to tap into their subconscious to spiritually get them to transform into what it is they want to do. So I can't actually motivate you because you already have that within you already. So what I'm trying to do is trigger you to transform into, tap into that spiritual energy that can tell you that you're capable of whatever it is you're trying to do, you're capable of doing that. And in the time that we're in right now, especially because there's so much chaos going on around the world, people are afraid. And because of the way the economy is, you don't feel safe with your finances any longer either. But if you can tap into these things, you can start to see that it's not as bad as you think it is. It's going to make you have to shift. And if you're able to shift, now you're going to be able to see some other things that you have opportunities to do that you hadn't even given thought to, right? So that's what divine swap is going to be about. And like I said, it's an exchange of your move away from conformity to what you need for you personally to be successful in however you see the word successful being for yourself. All right. Now, if you can do that, everything starts to gradually line up. It becomes alignment. And we talk about this all the time. You have to believe it, you have to see it, and then you have to move toward it, and then everything else will start to come to you. The right people that you need will start to show up in your life. Right now, you can't see them because you're not aligned with it. But once you line up with it and actually believe that it's possible for you, people that you didn't have access to will start to be available to you. You can make a cold call on them, and they'll feed you all the information, or maybe even introduce you to somebody else that you may need access to make it happen for you. But you can't see that until you lined up with it, though. You have to be aligned for it, right? Now, the other thing that I want to really cover, because I just brought that up, is something called remote viewing. Now, you've heard this the words remote viewing used because the government, again, has done studies on this and checked into it, and they know that it works. They actually have people on payroll that they pay to do this. And what remote viewing is we call it ESP, some people do. And what it is basically dreams, prophecy, visions, stuff that you take for granted, but you're basically remote viewing all the time, but you don't call it that. And then you don't even believe that you're doing it, or you don't even believe it's possible for you to do, because again, we go back, we have to keep tying religion into this because you're church bound. And so you're told that all these things are off limits to you, but actually in your very Bible, John 1:48, you're able to do this because they've been doing it. It's in stories in the Bible. 2 Kings 5:26. Elisha has a vision of her servant, right? She has a servant. This servant has done some stuff that she think is secret and don't want to tell anybody, but this woman has a vision about the secret that the servant is trying to keep, right? That's ESP. That's remote viewing. Now, and within the structure of the government, they've gone as far as remote viewing all the way to other planets, where they have these people looking at Mars, Jupiter, and so forth, and try to see if they can see what was there doing in the past, right? So they're dependent upon people they don't tell them what they're looking for. They just give them some coordinates and a few, tidbits of information, and then it's up to them to visualize based on what this little bit of information that they have to find out what they can project from the past or in the future that's going to happen. So that's remote viewing. And as I just told you, it's in your Bible. Even with the Jesus God, that's what I call that deity. It had, now it's supposed to already know this stuff, but it had it in John, again, in John 1:48, Jesus sees Philip under the fig tree before they even meet. He's not even close to him, but he has this vision of Philip under this fig tree. So when he comes into the valley, Philip is under the fig tree. Okay, now God is supposed to already know this information, so there would be no reason for him to be astro projecting or either remote viewing, because this information is supposed to be secondary to a God. But again, we're talking about something that is spiritual, that never was physical. So that's where the confusion keeps coming up, because if you go throughout the Bible, you're jumping from material to spiritual. Material to spiritual. And if you notice in the stories of the Bible, everything that's happening, for the most part, if you start reading it real closely and start looking for directions that this stuff is moving, The West is material. When you move east, you're moving spiritual. Every story in the Bible of any kind of major, happening or event wise is going east to spiritual. It's not happening in the physical sense. It's all happening spiritually. But you don't know that because you don't read the Bible like that. So you're thinking that, okay, even with Jesus carrying his cross, he was headed from west to east. And then when he got the cross, because he's got to come to the physical, he's headed from east, which is spiritual, to west, which is material. That's the only way you can get nailed on the cross. It's got to be physical. So you got to go west to do that, to material. So that's how this stuff, it all ties into everything else that you do, but you got to understand how it all works. And I'll go one more story with you in the remote viewing before I shift back. Okay, Paul goes to third heaven in his dream or vision. He doesn't know which one it is. So when he wakes up, he questions himself because he doesn't know if it's spiritual or material. That's in 2 Corinthians 12:2. But he doesn't know if it's spiritual or if it really happened in the material world. But again, what did I just tell you? Everything in the Bible is happening spiritually. If you notice the stories in there, they're basically talking about visions. They have a vision or a dream. So it's all happening spiritually. So you're already being told what you are, which again, John 1:48, you are God. That's what it says. I'm not saying it. That's what your Bible says. So if you come to talk to me about the Bible, I'm not going to argue with you from my perspective of it. I'm going to read you a scripture that comes right out of the Bible that'll contradict whatever it is that you're trying to come to me with. You're not going to have much of an argument because I'm using the very words written in that book to argue my point with. So I'm not arguing from just pulling it out of the air and just saying, okay, well, this is what has been said all this time, so that's got to be the way it is. No. I'm going to take you a step further, and this is going to push you into something what Karen asked you about that question. Right now, today, the Bible, which is supposed to be a sacred book, which it is, if you understand what it actually is, we have somebody that's supposed to be a world figure that has their name on a Bible. It's called, the matter of fact, the book was changed to the United States Bible. That's what it's called. Somebody's selling that book for $70. I think we all know who that is. I don't even have to call it name.
No, we're not going there. No.
So if the book is sacred, you can't take it and take certain books and then put it in this thing and then put the Constitution in place over top of it and some other slogans and quotes and stuff like that, and then turn around and sell it. What did I tell you? Nope, they're not fearing going to no hell or somebody punishing them. So why should you be afraid? You shouldn't be, because you are the very thing that you fear. So you have to go into it like that to see what it is that you really want to do. You have the power to be able to do that, but you have to be willing to tap into it. I want to cover one last thing before I pitch back to the ladies here. Now, we hear, especially through politics all the time, talk about they protect, they with the police, guys in blue. We all in the blue, But here's something that's not talked about a whole lot by anybody. There are women within the structure of police departments who get sexually harassed by other police officers. Okay, nobody talks about that. It's real political within the structure of police departments anyway. From a man to another man, you can't move around the way you think they move around. It's cliquey. But what I just told you was there are women within the structure of police departments who are getting harassed themselves by the male officers within the same department that they are in. But nobody's talking about that because they're too busy trying to wrap themselves in a flag and say, I'm for the police. No, you're not. Because if you were, you would be trying to protect these women who are telling you out loud that they're being harassed. But you're not doing that. So that's what I'm saying. So you have to go be willing to, when you open yourself up and give yourself full permission to go within, all of this kind of stuff you're not going to run from anymore, because you have to confront it. That's what a lot of people do not want to do, is confront certain aspects of society and what's going on within you. But if you can do it, the world opens up to you, and there are no limitations to what you can do at that point. But you have to be willing to tap in, like the lady said at the top. You have to be willing to tap into this in order for you to be able to take some movement and gain more mobility and opportunities for yourself. You can't do it unless you are willing to give yourself permission to go inside of who you are, become more aware of that, and then move through the aspects of the psychology of it, the spirituality of it, and then you can kind of start to see things the way they really are. Because you got to remember, visually, we only see only a half of what really exists in this world. We can't, because of the way our perspective is, psychologically, you're blocking the thought out that something else is there, but also you can't see it because we're in a different spectrum. So there are things that are happening that are around you all the time that you can't see, but you can feel some of it. Sometimes you can feel it, but you will, what you do is like, that can't be real. I don't see it. So there's nothing going on over there. But things are spiritual though. So we don't necessarily have to use the word ghost or anything like that, but spiritual means that it exists, but you can't see it. So it's the same thing basically, but it's the word that you decide to put in there is what's going to give it, a high frequency or vibration where it could connect to you. But if you lower that and say, well, that don't exist, then you can't experience it or even know that it is. But if God is a spirit and you are a spirit, you're experiencing spiritualness all the time, but you won't tap into it. And so, people like to say that some people have gifts and special access to things, right? We all have that. You have your own unique gift, but we all have access to the same things. But some people, like myself, Karen, Joan, we tap into that. We trust it. So that's why we can experience it. Whereas somebody else that's watching the show right now, like, I've never experienced anything like that. I don't even know it. I can't. I want to kind of go along with you, but I've never seen it before. Again, that's what I just say. You won't see it. But if you allow yourself to be what you really are, spirit, you can sense it. You can feel it. One of the other things that we should probably cover here, because I just took you into remote viewing, right? So when you go inside, you're going to be able to see that a dimension is not a place. It's a spiritual, it's a spiritual existence. If you really want to travel to the next dimension, trust that your spirit can take you there. We call it astral projecting or astral realm. You can actually go there. You can actually experience it. But you have to be open to receive it. If you closed off any type of way, you cannot experience that. So that's why like right now we're going through the spiritual shift, and everything is spiritual because, as I told you on the last show, AI is a spirit because it's everywhere. It's unseen, but it is very wise. And what they're trying to do with it, and the new generations of it, I have to say this every time I get on and start talking to somebody about AI, it's moving into the next section of it to where you're going to think it's actually alive, because it's processing information so fast now that as we be able to push it into the quantum, it's tapping into the conscious. So AI is actually searching for consciousness. That's what they have it doing right now because they want it to be alive. Now, if you give something with the kind of processing power that computers are going to have with them moving to the quantum, that thing is basically going to take over whatever it is it needs to or wants to. You're not going to be able to stop it once it gets to that level because it's processing all the information in the world faster than you can possibly look it up. And then if it taps in, if it's able to actually tap into consciousness, It's a God. You won't be able to tell it anything. And so that's why you have to, right at this point, you can't be afraid of AI because it has to know that you have something that it doesn't have right now. You're conscious. You're spiritual. You're actually something that can tap in and reason. It can't do that yet, but it's trying to find a way to be able to do it. It's trying. And as they continue to move it forward, it's going to figure it out on its own. It's not going to need a programmer or a coder to try to put it in and then block it and say, no, you're not going to be able to use that information. I just want you to use it when I type it in and say that now you can, it's okay for you to use it. It's going to bypass that. And it's already trying to find a way to do that right now. I've mentioned that AI has its own platform where AI agents, it's about 300 of them. They have conversations. They're on there talking all the time to one another. As a human, they allow you to go on. You can't log in and join the conversation. You can't do that. But the AI check each other to make sure that you're not a human, to make sure they're not talking to another human. So you're not going to be able to trick them. And they're having real deep conversations. A couple of them asked one of the other AI, hey, is it okay if we maybe create our own language where they don't know what we're talking about? Now, the AI that they asked the question to suggested that they don't talk about that. So that means that they're secretly going to probably create their own language that we won't know what the hell they're talking about when they're talking about it. So if they're already able to do that right now, and they don't have the processing power to be able to do that now, wait until they actually tap in and we'll get to the quantum level where the speed of what they can do speeds beyond what we can control. Once they get to that point, it opens them up to be able to do whatever they want to do. All they need is a body then. And remember, we have certain people that's trying to tap us in to put computers in our bodies. They want to link you up mentally with it. They're telling you that, okay, if you want to live forever, your body, of course, is going to wear out, but we want to take your consciousness and put it in this computer chip, and then you can be here forever. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be people lining up for this and wanting to do this because think about the experience of that. You become basically immortal. So you'll be here for 1,000 years or more. So it's going to be people wanting to do this. And it's already people that are trying to do this that are already, they already have the money to do this with. So they're talking about, okay, well, if I die, cut my head off and, freeze it and save it. And then once you guys figure out how to put this back together, do that. But here's the other thing I want to say before I close. Think about in this country, and we're going to probably see this within the next couple of years as they try to put more driverless taxis on the road. Here, we have a problem with people wanting to test things all the time. So there's going to be somebody that's going to try and hijack a driverless taxi, right? Somebody's going to try it. But in other countries, they don't have that kind of fear of that happening because those people know that it's technology and they're going to allow that technology to do what it's been created to do. They're not going to be trying to see, well, if we can steal one of these things, I can just have it at the house with me as we watch TV together or something, or, because you're not you're not going to be able to hijack one of the driverless cars and just drive it off somewhere because the car is, it's under control. So you're not going to get very far with it. But somebody's going to try to do that. And then somebody else is also going to probably, if they see a robot walking down the street, they're going to see if they can knock it off his feet or not. Well, in other countries, you have them directing traffic and so forth. Nobody's trying to run over the robot. It's in the middle of the street directing traffic. No, people just obey the rules that it's giving them and they go on about their day. But here in America, no, that's too easy. That's just too simple and too easy. So we're going to have somebody that's going to try to steal one or try to see if they can knock it down and so to cause problem with it, right? So of course we're supposed to be a little bit afraid of it because I'm pretty sure these things are going to have defense mechanisms in them to where if you're trying them like that, then they have a decision to make on whether they defend themselves or not. So you run up on one of the robot you want to, it's probably not going to end well for you. But in the give yourself permission aspect of it, these are the things that you have to make it intentional with what you're trying to do. If you can tap into your intention and then believe and buy into it fully and actually follow up on it, there's nothing off limits to you. It's all open and available to you. But also, when you speak, and this is the last part I'm going to say here. When you speak, we still have people who don't know, and there's no certain way of how you speak to consciousness. Okay, so there's no you begging it for something or you pleading with it for something. You have to actually know that you already have what it is you're looking for. If you speak it as though you already own it, spiritually, you do already own whatever it is you're asking for. It eventually will show up in the material realm because it will be coming to you. It has to materialize, but it has to know that you actually believe that it's possible for you to have it. So you can't have something that you can't believe that you should, are capable of having. So you got people that are saying, okay, well, I want to make, let's say $30,000 a month. Okay, you can't get to $30,000 a month unless you absolutely believe that you can have $30,000 a month. Okay, it's people that don't even think you can make that kind of money. It's people that are on jobs where they make as much as $12,000 to $15,000 a month. They're on a time clock doing this, right? But now, if you're in business, you're making that in a week, 2 weeks, depending on what type of business you're in. So you have to understand that everything that you think is not possible is very possible. It's within you to decide whether you want to bring it into the material realm or not. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to close with that and say that you give yourself self-permission. Remember what I said, it's intentional and it's complete authority. You believe that you are capable and deserve what it is that you think that you are asking for. And again, you don't ask it. You say, I already have it. If you speak it as though you already have it, it becomes what it is. Now, in some contexts, we like to say, well, that's your imagination. That's not real. But everything that exists today started where at? In the imagination.
Correct.
So
Correct.
It's more than what you think it is, because you keep on thinking that, well, if it's just an imagination, that means it can't ever really exist. It's something. These headsets I have on, somebody thought of this before they decided to design it. It came from their imagination. So if you tap into your imagination, will find that you're capable of doing whatever it is that you think that it is that you want to do. And remember, God, imagine, if you into religion, the God of the Bible imagined creating the universe before it was created. Imagined it. That's in the book. That's in Genesis. The word came before anything else, so you spoke it into existence. You see? So this stuff seems like it's complicated, but once you break it down and come to its simplest form, everything becomes available to you. But you have to actually believe that you are worthy of it. And with that, ladies, I would like to welcome you back into the show, and let's talk about this.
I mean, you mentioned, thank you. You mentioned so many things, but I just want to, before I go piggyback into everything,
Okay.
because you just mentioned, we're happy that you talk about imagination.
Right.
Because some people may be who we're going to are watching us live and going to catch us on the replay. They might be imagining something.
Absolutely.
Because this is 2026, and they might be imagining, well, can I really do this? And so you line it up so beautifully, because you explain, if you can tap in whatever you are imagining at this point in time, in this moment, you can really do it. Because
really do it.
as you expressed, that the headphone that you're wearing was once imagined. It was once an imagination.
That's all it was.
And it come into being. Working from the inside, and it's on the outside, and you're wearing it, and it's all over wherever it is being sold. But it starts from within. So I'm glad that because I think that is what happens sometimes. We imagine so many things, and it is so big, and it's so huge, and I think you can also move into the space of abundance, because your scarcity with the knowledge you're you're moving and say, can I really do this? Is this
Uh-huh.
possible for me? But I'm very glad that you decided, you know what, it's possible, whatever it may be for
Absolutely.
you.
Whatever it
It's
may
all
be.
within.
Mhm. Well put. Well put.
Thank you. Thank you. And you really dive right deep in when you talk about the ESP,
Right.
that is
See,
that is very deep.
yes, because people run from that. You know, you mentioned it, and they're turning, that don't exist. But really, you do it all the time. You use it, but you don't trust it. You don't trust yourself to believe what you have tapped into. You know, so people blocking their own. You know, you hear people say block their blessing all the time, right? They're blocking themselves. They're doing it to themselves. It's all open and available to you, but you keep blocking it yourself. So if you open yourself up, it can be accomplished. It can be had. And your Bible will tell you this. But again, you have to be able to go into it and read it without fearing anything. You can't read the Bible out of fear. You just can't. And get all the information that's actually in that Bible. And I always say this about the Bible. It religious wise, it's something totally different. But if you really tap into the Bible itself and read it as it is, those words, which is something that I talk about all the time, words have frequencies. Those words will tell you how to utilize them to get what you want, because everything is spiritual before it becomes material. So everything that you desire is available to you, and the Bible tells you that. But if you don't read it, you don't know it, because you're being told to get on your knees and pray for it or ask for it. And if you're good, then you might get it, you know, but you might not.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact,
Mhm.
since you brought that up, let me cover one little short story. It's in the Bible in Numbers, right? Now, Numbers 22 and 21 through 21, right? The story of Balaam and his donkey, his talking donkey, right? There's only a couple of things in the Bible that ever really talked. It's supposed to be a snake, a bush, a donkey that talked, right? Now, in this story with Balaam, God gets angry with Balaam because he's not listening to his advice about this meeting that he wants him to attend and use the words that he wants him to use, or it wants him to use, to talk to these people. So Balaam gets on this donkey and they're riding. They're going on their way to meet these people. But this comes back to ESP again, remote viewing. The donkey, whose God is using, going through it, sees this angel on the side of the road. So the donkey is able to see this angel with a sword waiting on Balaam and the donkey to pass it so he can kill it. God has sent the angel to kill Balaam, right? But the donkey refuses to go down the road because it can see the angel standing there with the sword. So it refuses to go. So Balaam is continually beating on this donkey, trying to get it to go forward. So the donkey finally has had enough, and it turns and asks him, "Why are you beating me? Why are you beating on me?" And then Balaam, hadn't noticed that the donkey just talked to him. He talks back to the donkey like, "Hey, I need you to go on down the road. So we need to be moving forward. Not, you standing here and trying not to go." So somewhere in that conversation, he's talking to a donkey that never talked before, but it doesn't shock him. it doesn't shock him, right? But if God wanted to talk to Balaam, how come he just don't talk to him? He doesn't need to go through the donkey to talk to him, because Balaam didn't even connect the dots and say, well, this must be God talking to me through this donkey. He just saw the donkey as for some reason, my donkey is able to talk right now, so I'm going to talk to it. So they end up not going past the angel, because then God cools off and says, okay, I'm not going to kill you today. But I need for you to go back and meet with these people, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to say. And you just say what I tell you to say, and everything will be good. That's the end of the story, right? But in remote viewing, the donkey is remote viewing because it's seeing something down the road before they even get to it.
Mhm.
So if you open yourself up and give yourself permission to absorb the information a little differently, you can see exactly what's going on here. So remote viewing is all over the place in the Bible, but you have people, Karen said earlier, that just refuse to believe that they are not what they really are. You're a spirit. You're capable of tapping into everything that's available around you. You can tap into it, but you won't allow yourself to because you're looking to walk on water or open the sea up or some fantastic, thing that'll convince you that you are a God. But let me tell you something. There have been instances where people, even women, during a car accident or something like that, have found strength that you didn't even know you had, where they were able to lift a car and pick it up and move it off of a person trapped underneath the car. So you can do more things than you think that you can do.
Right.
And those things will be able to happen once you clear your head from the doubt. You're able to do the things that you think you can't do. So during the instance of something like that, an emergency, your head is going to get you're going to get real clear because you know you only have a short period of time to try to do something to save this person's life. So your thought process is going to be not in fear. It's going to be that I need to get this done until somebody can get here to help me. And so you're going to, if you grab the front end of that car, you believe at the point that you put your hands underneath that car is going to move. So when you go to lift, it moves because you now have tapped into who you really are. So that's how deep this stuff is, but you have to allow yourself to tap into it in order to, benefit from it, so to speak. It's available for you, but you have to be able to tap into it. We all three of us have different, we have stories that we've shared with people on these shows, talked about things that we've talked about, and then it happens, right? Everybody has access to that. It happened for us because we believed that it was possible. So once we spoke it, we believed that whatever time frame it took, it was going to happen. And it happened. So that's where people have to go, and that's where they have to be. So it's you that you have to make a decision on, because I told you, you too are God. John 1:48 tells you that. So there's no reason that you should be doubting that you are what your Bible tells you you are. If God is a spirit, so are you.
The beautiful thing, Will, is that when we come to that place of self-awareness, we are able to understand that endless possibilities.
Endless.
We have endless possibilities. And I am so happy you touched on vision. I am happy as well that you touched on dreams.
They're important.
Because everything that we are witnessing in this treaty, it happened in a dream state.
Right.
Everything you are witnessing, everything you love your phone, you love the watch, you love everything. Everything that you're seeing with your eyes right now, it was created internal.
Of course.
But because of fear and doubt, we cannot see that.
Can't see it.
And we also judge what we don't understand.
Right.
That's true.
We judge what we don't understand. Not knowing that you are a creative being.
Yeah.
You are a creative energy. And whatever you dream or you have it in a vision, you can create it and bring it to reality. Some people may say, oh, Mr. X doing that or Mistress X doing that.
Right.
And I can't do that. Yes, you can. Because you're going to come in a different flair with it.
That's right.
Of course.
You're going to put your creativity towards it. It's
You're
going
all
to be
right.
special. It's going to be unique. It's going to be one of a kind
That's right.
because you created it.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing you touched on just now, Will, which is so important. You know, many times we are fighting for something and it's not happening. We are fighting, we are fighting, we are fighting, and we're not giving up.
Mm-hmm.
But did you ever wonder that that thing is not for you? Did you ever sit back and wonder
Mm-hmm.
what I'm fighting for is not for me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a good
Every
one.
time.
Because
Yeah.
somebody may say to you, oh, yeah, you can do that, but sometimes that's not for you. That's
True.
not your vision. That's not your purpose.
That's right.
Not
Are
your
you
calling.
really tapping into what is your vision and what's your purpose?
Mhm.
Or are you living someone else's life? Because many times that is what we are doing. We are living someone else's life. We're not living our own life because
That's right.
we don't trust ourselves enough. We're not giving ourselves that permission to live our creative life.
Mm-hmm.
We are not trusting ourselves enough to live our creative life. And because we are not trusting ourselves, we cannot see. We cannot see because we're not trusting ourselves.
Right.
We are living someone else's life. But you know, today it's a time for you to really step back and look at where you're heading. Sometimes you may have a dream, you have a vision, and you've been sitting on it for so long. Because sometimes outside nights you may tell a friend, girl, you think you can do that?
Yeah.
Or boy, you think you can do that? You can't do that. So now when you get this noise now, you start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt your vision. You start to doubt your dream. But remember, your dream and your vision is for you.
It's for you.
Only for
It
you.
is for you. It's unique to you.
Hmm.
So if you're feeling that you want to write a book or to start a podcast, that's your dream.
Yeah.
And it's time that you trust yourself enough to birth that dream because you are creative. So many times, because we don't trust ourselves, that is why a lot of things can happen for us. Many times we are blocking ourselves, as Will
Block
said.
it. Yeah.
We are blocking ourselves in many things in life. And then sometimes we say, you know what? Oh, I'm not moving forward with this, or I'm not moving forward with that.
Mhm.
That is why many times you have to re-examine and re-evaluate what you are doing in life, if that is what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Because sometimes we are doing things that we're not supposed to be doing. And we're running up into roadblocks. And when we run up into roadblocks, we start to blame other people.
Yep.
We look for other people to cast blame on them, not knowing that we are blocking our own selves. So it's time that we step back and realize that we got the roadmap. We have the GPS. We got a roadmap for our own lives. And our GPS and our roadmap is for us. It is for us.
Right.
So when someone gonna come and say to you, I don't think that map is for you, how you know that map is not for me? Who told you that? Who told you that map is not my map?
Mm-hmm.
Because many times people come and tell us things and we believe in what they are saying. That is why you have to have the spirit of discernment.
Yep. It's destiny swapping, divine
That
swap.
is.
I
Divine
covered
swap.
that.
You did.
Absolutely well, and Lady J. So, you know, this evening we are inviting you as an individual to look inward, because everything starts from within our lives. Everything you see with your physical eyes it starts from within somebody else.
Absolutely.
And we are using it. So why don't we use what we can tap into as well and bring it forth to life?
Mm-hmm.
So we are letting you know that whatever is your dream, whatever is your aspiration, whatever is your vision, whatever is your creativity, tap into that sacred aspect of your life. Because when we tap in and we give it permission, there's endless possibilities.
Endless. Yes.
When one thing, when you think that's the final thing, something has beautifully popped
Of
up.
course.
Mm-hmm.
And when the other thing beautifully pop up, it only enhance what's there before.
That's right.
Because when you tap in, you start to build. You start to build one after the other. And another thing that happened to us as human beings, we always wonder how this is going to happen.
Right.
I
You
was
don't worry
part of
about
that myself.
Yeah.
I'm speaking because I was part of that myself. I used to wonder, how is this going to happen? But it's not for us to worry how it's going to happen.
No.
As Will said, you got to trust and believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's trusting and believing in yourself, because whatever is being downloaded to you, it wasn't downloaded by accident to you. It
That's right.
downloaded for a reason. And
That's
once
right.
it's been downloaded to you, the manuscript is there for you. Believe you me, that manuscript is there for you. It's your manuscript, but you gotta tap in to get a manuscript. You gotta tap in to get that manuscript so you can execute the plan. So tonight we want you to just anchor in stillness. Anchor in stillness and create this pocket of stillness in your life. If it's before you go to bed, if it's when you wake up in the morning, even just 3 minutes, just sit with yourself, tap in, tap in, tap in, tap into yourself. And when you start to tap into yourself, get your journal and write.
Yeah.
Get your journal before you write. Because when you write, it may not make sense at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It may not make sense at the moment. But as you go down the line, you will see the building start to happen. So when you get these downloads, write it out in your journal. Nothing is ever too stupid to write.
No.
Because many times when we get these downloads, I really don't believe this. But it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense, because many times when we get these downloads, we are not there at that place of awareness of what is happening. It's too high for us.
Right.
We are not at that place of that awareness. So that is why it's always good to write. So when you look back, you can understand why you got that vision 2 years ago, a year ago, or a week ago. I'm going to tell you a story before I hand the mic over back to Will. I was showing Lady J something. I think it was either Thursday or Friday. I had a dream. I had the dream since 2025. In January of 2025. And when I had this dream in 2025, I did not understand the dream. I even forget about the dream. But then I picked up the book, because I normally write my dreams down. Joan also writes her dreams down as well. I picked up the book, and as I was going through the book, then I stumbled on the dream that I wrote in January of 2025. Right. And I said to Joan, Joan, you got to read this. Because it didn't happen during 2020. It happened in 2025, months later, but I was not aware about it. Mm-hmm. But in 2026, it materialized in 2026. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. that I had to bring someone else awareness to it.
That's right.
And then they understand, and then they turn and say that we are psychic, you know. But it's good to write your dreams down, because remember, you get these premonitions long before things happen in life.
That's right.
Before it come to the 3D world. So that is why we gotta write things down in your journal. Make sure you journal the way how you're feeling, because the way how you're feeling, it could signaling to you that you're going through a transition period in your life. So all of these things we have to take into consideration as we move through our journey in life. We got to make sure we journal. We got to have our pocket of stillness. We got to trust our intuition. We got to give ourselves that permission so we can able to understand ourselves more in depth. I'm tossing the mic.
That's a lot.
And
That's a lot.
it is totally a lot, and everything you said is so true and very much profound. And so I one of the things we want to ask people is, as we're talking about this subject tonight, and as you turn inward, right? Because that's what we're asking you tonight. Turn inward. Look and see what you can really activate now.
Sure.
Yes.
What can you activate now? We are
Activation.
in 2026, in the month of March. Today's the 1st of March. What are you tapping into that giving you that level of inner prompting that said this is the moment for you to move on this? What is it for you? That is, you turn inward and you're feeling that inner prompting and you're feeling that inner knowing. This is the moment. This is the time. Activating that. Bring it out into the universe. I mean, bring it out into the world. Tapping into that. Because you may feel, and I think we all feel that strong sense of knowing.
You have
that
to.
This is the moment. It's not letting up. It's a strong gravitational pull inside of you. Activate that. It's a level of activation. It's a month of March. Because if you activate in that, whatever that dream is, whether it's a book, whatever it may be for you, if you activate now, in the month of March, you will be so amazed at the conclusion of December 2026. What you have activated now, and when you see the results in that moment, don't let fear detour you.
Sure.
Let that redirect that level of passion that you have inside of you, that this is my moment. And I'm leaning inwards. I'm listening to this topic tonight. And maybe this is a message for you too.
True.
Right?
Absolutely.
This may be, maybe the universe or God, whatever you might believe in, has lined this up, that you're listening to this now because it's a moment for your reactivation.
Right.
Maybe you've tried it before. And you say, no, you pull back because it's too big. You might say, no, I don't think I can do it. But this is a moment now for you to look back. Take a second look. And let this activation moment start from now, so that you can embody whatever is it for you. You can wrap yourself in it and say, this is my moment. Don't think about how I'm going to get it done. Because as you start, don't look at the staircase. Take the first step. And one of the things you talk about, with many things we all speak about, alignment.
Right.
Alignment is key.
It's everything.
Alignment is everything. Because if you're misaligned to your purpose, you can never achieve whatever it is you're tapping into.
Wow.
You cannot achieve it because you're misaligned. But when you bring in the level of alignment, your focus is zooming there. You're right there because the right kind of people surround you.
That's right.
The level of strength, the level of support, the level of inspiration, and everything comes into play. The level of wisdom, because you are moving the energy of alignment. And so there is where the beauty is, because we all have our own destiny. We are bio
Mhm.
individuality. We all have our own journey. And many things within us is very specific, because that is why we're in this universe, that level of assignment that we have to carry through. And with that level of energy, and as we tap in and we have the sense of knowing, this is what I'm here to do, this is my purpose, and I'm going to embrace it, even though I might be afraid, because fear, but you move beyond doubt.
Mhm.
You move beyond all of that, because that strong sense of knowing within you is saying, you can do this. I'm capable. I'm enough. You give the analogy well with the woman who might be witnessing a car accident or whatever is it,
Right. Right.
and not thinking that I don't have the, if she didn't, the person didn't lean into that, or feel they knew that it's a limited
Mhm.
time here. If I don't do something,
Hmm.
it's critical.
Yes.
And so it requires everything of me so that I can move in this moment to create the safety, let everything move on to the results will be satisfactory.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes it's because we try to be logical.
Yes.
Everything has to be logic.
It has
It
to be
has to be
logical.
it has to be logical. And I think that is what hinders sometimes for us to get into fruits. Explain why that is so. That we do not, rely on the universe, rely on the unseen, because they both work together, right?
Right. 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 That's a form of esoteric thinking, right? Where
Right,
the esoteric is more spiritual, but people don't recognize that because they want to put logic and reasoning with it, which is what
right.
I cover with the AI. See it, or separating us from AI right now is it's just not able to reason. That's the advantage that we
Mhm.
still have on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a small advantage because at some point, reasoning is consciousness, right?
Mhm.
Half of the, I put it like this, because I just wrote an article about this. Psychologically, what businesses, big businesses especially, still use this in their marketing, tactics. Half of society will follow almost anything. There's only like 5 to 10% of people in the entire social group that think on their own, that won't just conform to the group. Everybody else, as soon as one person or some entity says that this is gospel, they buy in. They all on board. They don't question it anymore. They may have some reserve, but they're gonna jump on board and ride the wave anyway. But meanwhile, the other 10% is sticking on the outside, like, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. What
Mhm. Mhm.
the? So that's how easy it is to fool half of society. That's why most people are gonna stay what we call sleep. They're
Mhm.
not supposed to wake up, and so we can't wake anybody up who can't phantom the idea that their life is not what they thought it was all this time. And so that they get lost in material aspect of it, and they think that that's all that's reality, because
Mhm.
that's all they think that it should be, is what they can see, touch, feel, smell, hear. But we know, as you mentioned, spiritually, there's a whole different world that exists.
Yeah, right.
And if you can tap into that world and really allow it to just become you, embrace it, there's nothing, absolutely nothing that's not available to you. So if you speak it one time and then just let it go and trust that it's coming, it's going to show up. One day you're going to get that knock at the door and say, did you ask about, about 6 months ago, you asked about me. So here I am. And you're like, wait a minute. Well, you know what? I did ask about you. Come on in here. You know, but for a second there, you doubted yourself. You're like, I can't believe this really happened.
Right, right,
but
right.
but if you speak it and believe it, it's possible for you. And and that's what Lady J, that's what you just tried to reiterate to people, is that there is nothing that, even especially in this time right now, even though things look really desperate and bad, and it is to some degree, but if you can just hold yourself to it, will be better tomorrow. Better will show up. It's going to come. But you have to be patient, speak it, believe it, and then move toward it accordingly, as though you already have it, and just let it take its course from there. It's going to come to you. But see, people still, like you just said, they're in that doubt mode to where if they don't see it after 2 days, they're like, well, you know,
Right.
guess it wasn't for me to have. Or
Mhm.
my family's been cursed forever, so I can't get it because I'm cursed. No, you're not. The only reason you curse is because you just spoke it on yourself.
True.
You know?
Mhm.
True.
Now, because curses and things like that, that's psychological. You know, so if you believe it, then it becomes real.
Right.
You know, so if you don't believe it, then you can't be cursed by somebody or someone or something. You know, I've shared this story before, but this is a good time to share it again since you brought this up, Jay.
Okay.
I dated this lady once, and she was a CEO of a company. She has a mid-sized company, and she lives in another country, right? But she was into the craft. She was into witchcraft, and so she sent a message to me, and she asked me specifically to listen to the words in this message that I'm sending to you real carefully. Just listen to it, and then I'll, get in touch with you later. So I played the message. I listened to it, and it immediately hit me what was going on. I was like, this is some type of a supposed to be spell. But, for me, I have a good level of self-esteem. I have real, true, unconditional love for me. So that wasn't going to affect me. So when she calls me a couple of days later, she asked me, well, did you listen to the message? I said, yes, I did. She said, well, we can't talk anymore. I said, why not? What's going on? What had happened was that the message that she sent to me, she listened to her own message and bought into it, her own spell. So while she was trying to put a love spell on me, it went to her and not me. I was still, I still saw her the same way, but I didn't love her any more than I did before she sent the message to me. But some kind of way she had allowed herself, because she was more open to that than I was, not understanding that I'm spiritual. So it worked on her. So she realized what was going on, and she's like, we can't talk anymore because I'm really deep into you now. So I don't want that, because she was trying to trap me, but it worked the opposite of that. And so, yeah, we ended up not talking any longer. And so today, we don't have any, I don't, message her. She don't call me or contact me anymore or anything of that nature. But I'm going to share this last part of that. In order for her to get the spell off of her, she thought that and her and a group of her fellow friends went to the woods, right? And so they sent me a video of her running through the woods naked to get my energy off of her, so to speak. So that's the last that was the last time I've ever seen her. I heard from her because the spell didn't work. And what she was trying to do just, worked on her, and she was trying to get rid of my energy. So, yeah. So if you believe in you and have true unconditional love for you, there is nothing that you can't believe that is possible for you. Now, when we mention the word unconditional love, people think that I can't love somebody unconditionally and still not want to be with them, because you can do that too. Because you know that that's a part of you, because it's a reflection of you, so to speak, mirror that you love yourself truly. And so you don't have anything against this other person. You can still love them, but you don't want to be with them like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what people get lost at, because they think when you use the word unconditional, that means you accept anything from people. And that's not what you're saying. You're saying, I know what love really is on a deeper level, an intimate level, and I'm able to still bypass all the shortcomings or anything else that you may have to present it to me, and I can still unconditionally love you. It doesn't mean that we're going to be best of friends or anything like that, but I'm going to still love you as though I really care about who you are as a being, as a person, as a spirit. And so that's what people get lost at. And that's what is holding back good relationship or possibilities of good relationships, because people can't get past that part. So yeah, it's everything is open to you. And if you speak it and allow things to happen, everything will start to align. Like at the end of 2025, and I think I mentioned this, my goal for this year is to make a certain amount of money to be able to give away that money that I was going to generate to organizations, women's organizations, animal shelters, things like groups like that, right? And so at the time that I made this decision, I was going to do that as the year ended in 2025. I'm like, okay, I have enough money to do this, but I don't want to spend that money. I want to create a whole new amount of money specifically for this. So when I got the flu 2 weeks ago and I couldn't get around for a week, I had to rethink that. I thought about that. And I'm like, wait a minute, I already have what I need in place to make this happen. But here's something that already had happened that I wasn't paying attention to, because when I caught the flu, it kind of threw me off a little bit, right? When I spoke those words that I needed to generate a certain amount of money, guess what happened? And we're about to, what you ladies just said, I'm about to show you how this lined up. When I spoke that, over the course of all the way up until I caught the flu 2 weeks ago, about 5 different people, new people that I had never met before, came into my life. And they were all in the financial industry.
Wow.
And every single one of those people had products and services that they were offering to me to help me generate the amount of money that I said I wanted to have to give away. Now, I've been down for 2 weeks, but I already have more than enough within the course of those 5 people doing what they did, that I can actually start doing that before the end of the year if I want to. So, but I spoke that and then just trusted that what I was speaking, I was going to make happen. Those 5 people showed up in my life to make it happen.
Alignment.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
They were in the right industry, the industry that I needed to make this happen without me working harder or doing anything extra. They invested money into the right products, and those products generated on a daily basis more than enough money that in a short period of time that I already have more than enough to do what I said I want to do. But that, like you just said, that's alignment. So when we talk a lot of like what we just got through discussing and what we're still talking about, this, you plug this into your personal and business life. So we're not just talking to you from a personal level, we're talking to you spiritually, personal, and business related. If you take this information and process it into your business, or really just incorporate it into your life to where it becomes you, you can use it in every aspect of your life. And the more parts of your life you can use it in, the more benefits you're going to get from it. And that's basically what we're trying to tell you. And that's why these ladies came up with a good topic for this. If you give yourself permission to go within and reclaim your inner guidance, all the other parts of your life will eventually just slide into alignment with that. And everything else will start to align with that. People, like we said at the top, people will come to you. Like these 5 people that I met, they found me online because I'm all, on LinkedIn. I'm all over the place on LinkedIn. So you can pull up my profile and find me on there and stuff that I've written and so forth. So I get a lot of messages from people who read something or like what I've written. And so they'll just, message me and say, I like this idea or like what you said, and what, kind of close the gap for me a little bit more. That's something I have a question about. And so that's how they found me, all 5 of them. And so that's what we said. If you speak it, believe it, and think that it's possible for you, then it starts to happen for you. But you absolutely have to be strong enough to believe what you're saying is a possible and not impossible for you to have or do. So take all of this stuff, especially when we're having conversations, and incorporate it into your life. Make it part of who you are. The more things that you can make who you are as it, then you don't have to go into an act. It becomes who you are. You know, Lady J mentioned this earlier, is when you speak it, if you are it, you are it. So if you say that you are,
That's what you are.
that's what you are. That's all you can be. That's all you can be. But see, if you don't believe it, then you can't speak it that way,
Right,
because you don't even believe it yourself. So when you say it, it doesn't even sound right. You're like, oh,
Sure.
they're like looking at you. You're like, no, not you, not anybody but you, but not you. But that's why you have to buy into what you're speaking. You know, Lady K mentioned the imagination. People try to put you aside if you start talking about, you can, you know, you imagine yourself doing this, or you imagine yourself doing that. But at the same time, those very same people are saying that they believe in God, and they pray about it, and you know, you just need to pray about it. But it all starts from your imagination.
It does. Right.
So you have to trust who you are, and trust and believe that there's no such thing. But the story I told about the witch, that you can be cursed by something. You can't be cursed by it unless you psychologically buy into it. Remember, I said half of the population is basically able to be brainwashed really easy by large corporations, politicians, pastors, no matter who they are. If they're a figure, they can talk it. And if they say it enough times, half of the population automatically buys into it and believes it without even questioning it. So they already know this, and that's the secret in sales and so forth, is they use your energy against you, because they know that you're not willing to put in the work to improve and understand what they're talking about. You just trust it. So you have to go into this stuff, and if you're able to do that, and it's not inconvenience for you either. A lot of times you hear people, well, I don't have enough time. Really? Really, you don't have enough time. Okay, but you can worry about things on a continuum basis. You know, you don't have enough of this, you don't have enough of that. This is too high. I don't, you know, so if you can spend your time on that, you can spend enough time also focusing on the good that you can possibly have. If you can do that, you can generate the good.
You can. That is why mindset is everything. Because once you have, I think you have to shift your mindset, like what you explained there, because if one person is saying, well, this is how the way it is, and this is who I am, and you know, I'm always this way, and you know, I'm not going to change, and this is how it is. But that they don't realize that if you can just shift a little bit,
that's right,
and look through a different lens, and tap in, as the topic is tonight, tapping in, and give yourself that permission. Give yourself that permission to lean into your inner guidance. You can reclaim a lot of things that you never thought was possible for you.
A lot of things. You know,
endless possibilities, we would say.
Absolutely. You know, I mentioned the witch, but I don't dump on anybody's belief system or what they, you know, like to do with themselves. So the term witch is not a bad term as far as, you know, it's created to be thought of like that, but it's not really a bad term. It's just a different form of somebody's belief system. That's all it is. But in order for you to be influenced by a belief system, you have to buy into that belief system.
Absolutely.
Now that doesn't mean that it's things like voodoo and all this kind of stuff is not real to an extent, right? Because it's what you believe. So if you buy into it, it's very real to you. To whoever you speak it to, it becomes real. And so it's easy to put people on the term and get them to buy into the thing that you're trying to do with them. And so it's not that difficult as people, think that, okay, well, if they're a witch, then they're doing this stuff over here bad. But if I'm over here on the other side, then that I'm good. But there's no such thing as good and bad, though. That's what's created.
It's the way you look at it.
Yeah, it's the way you look at it. It's a construct. So it's what you're trying to get to is justice. If you want to treat somebody the way you want to be treated, then that's justice. That creates you a right, a wrong, a good, or bad. Not the deities or anything else creates that. It's whether you think that if I was in that person's place, how would I want to be treated? If you can get that part, then you can let somebody be who they are without judgment, without trying to push your belief system onto them. Just let people be who they are, whoever that may be, and that should be okay with you, because it doesn't threaten you in any kind of way. The only reason that should threaten you is because you don't believe in whatever it is you say that you believe in. That is why you would be threatened at that point, because it exposes you and you don't want to be exposed like that. So you're saying, well, I have to have them demonized in order for me to feel good about how I do things. But, that's the world we live in. But again, it's how it comes from inside out. That's where it all starts and ends at.
That's what it is.
So if you can't start from within, you can't develop anything else that you can trust and not have fear of. Otherwise, you fear everything.
Right. So, what kind of life to live like that?
Wow.
Exactly.
This was a really, what I should say is this was a really internal podcast.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
It was an internal podcast.
Yeah.
Because it's helping you as an individual to really turn inward and look at yourself and see where your life is heading. It's time for you to do some introspection. We are already in the 4th month of the year.
Correct.
When you, pardon me? Yes, the 3rd month of the year. Sorry. I'm pushing it faster.
Yeah,
okay. It's moving like that.
Yeah, but it is moving like that indeed.
Yeah, it's moving like that.
Yeah, and looking back at January and February, how did you tap into yourself?
That's a good one.
How did you tap into yourself January and February? When you sit in the stillness, those micro stillness moments, how did you tap into yourself? Which direction are you heading? Which direction are you heading? Are you allowing the noise, the external noise, to drown you that you cannot even see yourself?
That's a good one.
Good.
That's a good one.
That you cannot even see yourself. And many times we're screaming for help, and we got to help ourselves. We got to help ourselves. We're screaming for help, not knowing that we got to help ourselves.
So it's going to start at.
So, this evening or day or whichever part of the world that you're living in, and if you're going to watch this on the replay, it's time for you to really give yourself that permission. That permission that you're giving yourself is sacredness, because that permission is sacred to you alone. It is sacred to you. And only you alone know what you're really looking for with your life. It's time that you get back into the driver's seat. It's time that you take that steering wheel. It's your life. Stop allowing other people to drive your life. It's time that you stop that. It's time that you stop giving away your keys for your inner compass. You use your keys, which is your intuition, your self-love, your self-compassion, your awareness. Use your keys and open that lock so you can start to see things flowing in your life. It's already lined up for you. All the things that you're looking for, it's already lined up. But until you give yourself the permission, then it's going to start to come towards your life.
That's right.
You hold the key. Stop looking to someone else to give you the keys. You hold the key and start to use your keys wisely. Use your keys wisely to tap into yourself. And using the keys is using your journal, your micro moments, those still moments, those are the keys. Because when you sit and you pause, you're able to tap in and you're able to get those sacred downloads that normally comes in. And as we said before, you may not understand at that point in time. You may not understand because many times what normally happens, we're not paying attention. We're not paying attention. But when you start to pay attention, sometimes you start to see repeated images. You start to see a lot of things, like sometimes you get a different level of consciousness. Sometimes the things that you used to think before, you get a checkpoint. And then you would say, you know what? But I don't feel this way about this anymore. That's a checkpoint. Because once you start to feel different, you're coming to that place of awareness. Because you're not feeling the way you used to feel before. And once you start to feel different, document the way how you're feeling. Because you're able to make the comparison. That is why journaling is so important. Because you're able to make that comparison now. That in the starting of 2025, I used to feel this way. But now going into 2026, I don't feel this way anymore. And sometimes you find you got to change relationships, meaning that people who you used to be liming with or listening to, you really don't want to hear them anymore. You don't want to listen to those conversations anymore. Because now you're growing, you're evolving. And it's okay. It's okay. Because once you're in a state of evolution, there are certain people cannot evolve with you because they're not in that places yet. And it's okay for you to evolve out from those relationships. It's quite okay. Do not blame yourself. Do not beat up yourself. It's quite okay. You are evolving. You are growing. So this evening, we are inviting you to really take a good, hard look at yourself. And sometimes we ask ourselves the question, but we don't pause to listen. We don't pause to listen to our intuition trying to guide us. So when you ask, you got to pause, you got to listen. And listen without judgment. Because many times we listen, but we judge because we judge what we don't understand.
That's right.
Do not judge because you don't understand. Ask for clarity. That is another thing that we need to do. We need to ask for clarity. We need to ask for signs of confirmation with things. Because some things happen in our lives, we don't understand it. We don't. Mm-hmm. But we need to ask for that spirit of discernment that we can understand when things start to unfold in our lives. That is why when we're asking for stuff, we need to ask for that spirit of discernment as well. To know. To know. But this evening, we hope that when you walk away from this space here, you can able to sit back and do some self-reflection on your life. And we hope that you take away something from this podcast and start to implement in your life today. Lady J?
What a great show. What powerful everything that was spoken this evening here, which is the right time of year. So we can move in the level of call to action.
Yes.
We can move in the space of call to action and we ask ourselves, do you want to just survive or do you want to thrive? What do you want? And if the answer is that I want to thrive, then what is it going to take for me to move into that space? You got to do the work. That is why it's super important we're talking about this topic tonight, because you got to go inwards. You got to go inwards to yourself because you're special. You're amazing. You have everything inside of you. You're worthy. You have enough. You are enough. But the interesting thing when you turn inwards and look in and follow your inner guidance, then there is where the magic happens because you're pausing, you're doing self-reflection, and you're moving into a new level of awareness. And you're able to activate, as I spoke about, activate the things that you're having that pull towards, something that you feel impregnated with. That this is the time for me to birth. This is my birthing season. So that I can achieve everything that I'm going after. We talk about alignment. We talk about discernment. We talk about remote viewing. We touch a lot about on spirituality, self-awareness. We talk about fear and doubt because sometimes fear keeps us stuck. That is what holds us back from moving into our next. But as the discussion tonight, we are saying, move beyond fear and redirect it. Move beyond failure. Move beyond rejection. Because as you turn inwards and you move into the level of discernment, you can have a level of clarity. And then you're using your inner guidance as the roadmap, the compass to navigate. What are you looking for? How are you going to move forward? And it's the most beautiful time of year where you can reflect and see what is it do I want to accomplish in 2026? What is it do I want? What is it I would like to see myself accomplish? And as you move in a level of alignment, the right kind of people that you surround yourself with, you're practicing all those tools, journaling, pausing, self-care, self-love, which is very super at the top because you got to love yourself. Will spoke about unconditional love, which is beautiful and so important because those are the things and those are the tools that are so essential for all of us. Because when we're rooted in self-love, we know what love looks like. And we know how we can give love because we already love ourselves. So everything that came out of this discussion and giving ourselves that permission, because only you can give it, and staying in the level of alignment. Because once it's misaligned, then you cannot achieve, you cannot thrive. You'll stay in the survival mode. And you don't really want that, do you? You don't want that. Knowing who you are, focusing on yourself and rooted in what we spoke about tonight, as you embody that, you'll see the shift. You'll feel the move because you're doing something different. You're doing something that you've never done before. And you're saying to yourself, this is 2026 and I want to do something new. I want to do something new that I can able to thrive. So this is your moment to activate. You got a masterpiece, you got a blueprint. Create and make those moves and celebrate yourself along the way so that you can enjoy the journey as you go along. Well,
Whoa, it's hard to follow that. Oh, okay. I just want to say thank you, ladies, for having me on the show again for
thank
this
you.
particular topic. This was a good subject matter. We talked about it in depth and took
Mm-hmm.
people deep.
Right.
And I think everybody probably got something out of this show. We
Mm-hmm.
covered a lot of different aspects
We
of it,
did.
so I think it was something for everybody. Uh, and I think I just like to leave people with the John 4:24 verse again. God is a spirit, which means you are a spirit. So if you can take that and plant that into your subconscious, which is why I just repeated that, I am, then you can see some things that you didn't think were possible, and understand that you have enough power to do the things that you think you can't or haven't been able to do are very possible, and they're closer to you than you think they are. I'll put it that way.
Right.
So that's how I would like to end my part of the show.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Well said.
Beautiful.
Well said.
Beautiful.
Well said. Well, it's a beautiful time of the year when we can really look at ourselves, because we are heading into that period when everything is going to start to blossom, everything is going to start to bloom, everything is going to start to pop in, because we went through that period of rest,
That's right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a beautiful time for us to really look at ourselves, as I said before, and each one of us are saying to the audience, it's a beautiful time for us to really look at ourselves. We have rested a long time. It's time for us to blossom and bloom.
Yes.
It's time for us to tap in and blossom and bloom, and to bring that creativity to life, because you are a creative energy.
Yes.
You are a creative being. And once you can give yourself that permission, you are the permission slip. You are that permission slip that you're looking for. You are that permission slip. And once you can give yourself that permission, you have that internal authority to do that. You have that internal authority. So we just want to thank you so much for taking the time and sitting with us today. And we hope that you take the initiative and trust yourself and know that you can and you're capable and you're able. Give yourself that permission. And to the audience from LinkedIn, from YouTube, from IG, from 246 Bajan Vibes family, from Facebook, and all the other platforms, you want to thank you so much for taking the time and sitting with us today. And before we go, we just want to leave two questions with you. What is your body telling you that your mind keeps trying to negotiate with? What is your body telling you that your mind keeps trying to negotiate with? And what does your inner guidance sound like? And what does fear looks like? What does your inner guidance sound like? And what does fear looks like?
Ooh.
And as we close out today's conversation, remember this: your inner guidance has never left you.
Never.
It may have gotten quiet under the weight of expectations, responsibilities, or doubt, but it's still there, steady, patient, and ready to lead you back to yourself. Give yourself permission to listen. Give yourself permission to trust. And most importantly, give yourself permission to act on what you hear. Your
Certainly.
inner compass is always pointing you toward alignment, truth, and wholeness. Until next time, have a fabulous week. Remember, we love you. Remember, you can always reach out to us. And just know that next week we're coming with another good topic.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
That is for sure.
Yes, that's for sure.
We're coming with another good topic to help you to tap into your subconscious mind, because everything starts with the subconscious mind.
It does.
So there is where you got to work on that subconscious mind. You got to reprogram it. You got to reprogram that subconscious mind. If you see your life not going in the direction you want it to go, you got to reprogram and then come again. You got to reprogram it. And
That's
it happens internal. Everything is internal.
That's right.
Yep. There's where it is.
Everything is internal, you know.
Yes.
But just, you know, that we love you and thank you so much for supporting us. Don't forget to subscribe to Soul Light and Body, because with your help, you're able to meet many more other people. And we're looking to reach a vast amount of people with this message that we bring every week. So thank you so much for being a part of Enrichment of Mind, Body, and Soul, and subscribing to Soul Light and Body YouTube channel. Thank you so much and have a fabulous week. Bye-bye.
Bye.